I spoke with one expert about the Israeli-UAE peace deal, Wendy Sherman, former U.S. Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs. She also served as lead negotiator on the Iran nuclear deal for President Obama. I started by asking her about the importance of the deal in the region and also asked whether she was concerned about a peace deal being potentially tied to the sale of F-35 fighter jets to the UAE.
It is a good thing if the United Arab Emirates, in fact, recognizes Israel, makes peace with Israel. This is important. We know that Secretary Pompeo is going to head to the Emirates and then to Bahrain and Sudan. Jared Kushner will join in the region later in the week to try to expand, as Prime Minister Netanyahu says, the circle of peace. But there are a few wrinkles in all of this, Dan. One of them is that Secretary Pompeo is going to use Jerusalem as a prop to make a speech at the Republican National Convention tomorrow, which is quite unprecedented for a Secretary of State to make such a speech and to do so abroad and from Jerusalem. And secondly, we know from what Jared Kushner has said over the last couple of days that the UAE deal or understanding comes with the United States likely selling F-35s to the United Arab Emirates. I think the United States Congress is going to have something to say about that and going to be pretty skeptical about such a sale.
Do you think that weapon sales could be an unintended intent here, an unintended consequence perhaps?
The United Arab Emirates probably said to the United States, we really want those F-35s, and we would expect that to be something that comes our way as a result of our making peace with Israel. Look, I am a supporter of the United Emirates. I think this is a good thing that they have made peace with Israel, but I'm quite concerned about any kind of sale of the F-35 to countries. In part, this is to try to bring peace to the region. We've had a Yemeni war that was begun and intensified by Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. The Emirates has pulled back from that, but the war still goes on. The conflict remains. We certainly had the Syrian conflict, which is not fully resolved. We've seen Lebanon melt down in the last few days, particularly after the horrific explosion that took place down by the docks and throughout the city of Beirut. So we have a very difficult and complex scenario. Much of this is meant to try to be a bulwark against Iran, but I think in the short run, it's not going to achieve that goal, even though, as I said, the fact that the United Arab Emirates has made peace with Israel is certainly a positive.